energy's intention is, and to honor what is healthy for us. But if we're doing that and it's like a subconscious thing that, we're not really paying attention to, it does affect these children. And those of you that are adults now raising children, if you never were shown honor or respect, chances are you don't mean to, but you're doing that to your children. You're projecting that same misalignment upon your children. So a big part of what I feel love is, and what I, in my knowing, understand love to be, is not at all what we are taught on this planet. It is not at all what we are taught in love songs or in movies or in families, for that matter. And what we are taught is that if you love these family members, if you love this person, then you will go through just about anything for them. And that you will, there's songs, like that, I'd take a grenade for you. There's songs that are like, what? The insanity of I would lay down and die for you. Is this really love, or is that just really insanity and it's really desperation? And I will abuse myself so much to prove my love to you. And it's very Romeo and Juliet. And man, that stuff sells in books and it sells in love stories and movies. But it's you're getting gypped if you're going with it and if you're believing in it, because it's actually the recipe for disaster. It's the exact recipe for destruction and enslavement, codependency, and abusive. It's just abuse and addiction to the core. So we can celebrate these things, and we do have a way in society of making really dysfunctional things look really glamorous, but we need to start to really look into it and like, what is love? Is not these things. It is not attachment. It is not, from what Source tells me, we are to be unattached by role or title. If we live in our alignment with Source, with our connection with our highest intuitive self, our highest aligned knowing, we are to live in that space of alignment, loving self fully, honoring self fully, and from that alignment, we look out of the eyes of awareness of, how do I feel about the energies around me? What do I feel about grandma? What do I feel about this strange man that's trying to push through my healthy boundaries? What do I honestly feel about that? Now, when we're in our power, when we have what I call empowered love, and I think in the 80s they called it tough love, and I think tough love almost seems like it was like we were kind of coming to this understanding of actual love, but the tough love almost still feels to me controlling and a little bit abusive. And so if we can scrap all these different things we've been told and taught that don't really feel good, what if we come from this place of empowered love, where I love myself and I care about myself, I honor my inner knowing, I trust my intuition, and I care about how I'm treated. Now, if I care about how I'm treated, it doesn't mean everyone around me cares. And a lot of times when a soul's just graduating and crossing that bridge from this very enslaved life to an empowered life, a lot of the people they've drawn to them in their old movie were very much enslaving, energetic vampire kind of people that come in, they take from you until they took too much. And there's that day that comes for every soul where you're just freaking done. Like, you are done being taken from, you are done being abused, you are done being disrespected. And so as we go through that process and we really get to that place of, I am done with this, we can take our power back and we suddenly start to feel like, maybe I tolerated that before, but I'm not tolerating it anymore. And I love myself and I deserve to be treated with respect. Maybe before I let you talk down to me and I let you make me feel shitty and push me around energetically because of your fear, but it's not happening anymore. And so in a moment like that, for a lot of souls going through that, there will be people that will fall out of your life. There will be people that, they're kind of like, well, we kind of want to control you and we don't really agree with you. And I know in my life when I came to this realization, oh man, did a lot of the board get cleared of who was in Tanya's life. And a lot of those people that once I had close to me, that I was in this space of how can I be enough for them? I was in not a good enough mode. When we don't really feel we're enough and we don't really love ourselves, we do a lot of stupid shit, period. And we will give our energy, we will give our time, we will give our power, we will give away our money, we will give away everything because we feel we're not good enough and we're trying to get the approval of the other, whoever that is. And so when we understand that and we can have that awareness, we can no longer enter any kind of agreements with another soul coming from that I'm not good enough place. If we're in a place of I am good enough, I love myself, I approve of myself, I deeply accept myself, now we will be looking out of eyes of what do I feel about these energies? When this one comes in, does it serve my soul to spend time with this one? Does it feel good to spend time with this one? Do I want to invite this one into my sacred space? Do I want to actually, when it gets to romance love, you really want to pay attention to this, because when we start to invite another soul into our sacred space, they're going to share the most sacred space with you. They're going to be in the bubble of your auric field with you. When you sleep in bed with another person, you are in that other person's energetic field. So you might want to really observe that energy before you choose to attach to it. This is really love. But when we're in codependency mode and we're in I'm not good enough mode, we just want anyone to come and hang out with us. So we'll tolerate a lot of stuff. We'll tolerate a lot of abuse. And most likely we'll have these addictive behaviors with sex. We might have people come in and we just let them use us, or we want to use them because we're angry that someone used us. And so it can become quite abusive and addictive. And the more a soul chooses that, the more they feel enslaved, the more they feel like they've given up their power, the more they feel, I'm not good enough. It's like that path will just continue to stimulate the ego that is so hungry for pain. The ego part of us wants suffering. It's hungry little monster. And like in our Sacred Soul Sister circle, we were talking about we must come to this place where we can laugh at the ego and where we can really see what it is this like little energy that's just hungry and it just wants to feed. It wants to stimulate fear and grief. And if we starve that ego, we can really start to shift our energy in a more healthy, empowered way. We start to tune into the intuitive side of ourselves. We start to listen to those subtle messages and we start to feel more powerful. But when we feed that ego, meaning I might be appearing to seem confident just sitting here, but while my friends are talking, my inner dialogue is going, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally fat. I feel so insecure. I bet you they think I'm fat. Oh, I bet you I made a mistake today. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Oh God, I wish I was prettier. I'm not as pretty as this friend. This inner chatter, so many of you do it. And if you don't want to own it, that's fine. But if you can own up to it and you can really have the awareness of how much internally we're beating ourselves up, this is how we will break free of the battle. We will break free of the enslavement of ego because we will no longer feed the ego part of ourselves. So when we get back to the topic, what is love? I feel at the essence, love is when we honor self, when we have self-love, self-awareness, self-esteem. All of that comes from alignment, from the alignment of self. When I truly love myself, I don't have to worry about doing stupid things. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to be good enough. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to do some dumb, destructive energy that's going to keep me in shadow and enslave me, because interestingly enough, when I'm in self-love alignment, I would do none of that because I love myself so much. But when we're in the shadow side and we are pretending to be in alignment, like we're pretending to be so confident, but we're really not feeling it internally, we will often do very self-sabotaging choices that will continue to enslave us. And so a big part of how do we get the love we want, we need to be that for ourselves. We need to, the simplest thing, meditate every day. I'm not joking about how important that is. I probably talked about meditation on almost every single show we've done for a year because it's that important. And it isn't some fancy chanting, wearing some kind of outfit and, rolling little mandala beads. If you like that, go for it. The ritual of things, sure, add them. But if it isn't your thing, meditation is just stillness. If you're a fisherman and you're sitting on that shore, or you're sitting on the boat casting your line and you're just sitting there relaxing, watching the water, and you're clearing your thoughts, you're at peace, you're at ease, meditation. If you're a painter and you're enjoying painting and you're just in your painting and you're quieting the mind chatter, you're just receiving from spirit, you're kind of processing solutions to something in your life because you're so quiet, you're in a more reflective space, Meditation. I do encourage daily conscious meditation, and that's where we consciously quiet the mind chatter. Like today, I had a full day of healing. I was in healing sessions. I was in give mode, receiving from spirit, giving to clients. And at the end of it, it was beautiful, but I needed my time to go recharge. So internally, my body felt some tiredness. It felt thirsty. I had to go give it water, and then I needed to go lay down and be and recharge myself and give to myself and then listen so that I could speak on the show today. So it's a dance. It's like this fine, delicate dance of self-love. It is recharging. When you're in that conscious meditation space, this is where you're going to find your solutions. It's where you're going to find your answers. It's where you're going to find the guidance, the inner knowing, the healing. It's where you're going to visualize creating something that's not here yet, where you really will start to manifest your desires because you're consciously tuning in to the alignment of having them instead of unconsciously, like subconsciously going through the day in worry mode, in fear mode, which is creating that. So it's really, think of meditation as a magical wand. And when you grasp it and you start to step into meditation daily, you have your power back. That wand is a tool to help you remember your power. Your power is always there. But many of us, when we're not tuning in and we're not quieting the mind, we feel like we're disconnected from our power. We feel like we've given it all away. So I look at meditation as taking that wand and claiming the power back and realizing we still have that magic, we still have that alignment, and we just need to access it. So I want you guys to kind of think about where you're tripping up in your life. If you have some kind of addiction with relationships, if you have addiction with perfectionism, if you have addiction with you need approval from everyone all the time, if you have an addiction of your body image, you're really struggling to accept yourself and really love your body, whatever those things are, I encourage you to start really looking at them and honoring them and to tune in with the intention to heal that and with the intention to bring that out of the shadow into the light so that it can be healed, it can be transmuted, and it can be shifted. So you're not going to necessarily be able to just push it away, but you can bring it in and you can really embrace it and tune into it, and you can clear it. You can learn from it, and because of what you learned, you can rise out of it. So actual love is very patient with ourselves. It's self-love. It's self-acceptance. When we have that kind of love, that is the most important relationship any of you will ever have in your lives, is the one that you have with yourself. The way you see yourself, the way you show honor to yourself, the way that you trust your inner knowing, the way that you stand in your power for what you really believe in. These are things that are going to create more and more self-esteem, and it's going to create and generate more and more self-confidence. The more confident a soul is, the more power they have. So if you're not really loving yourself and your self-esteem is really crappy, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to pull off fulfilling your soul mission, because your soul mission must have your power and must have your alignment to be able to pull it off. So if we're chasing after relationship, wanting some girl to want us and need us, wanting a guy to want us, want and need us, wanting that attention, that approval, it is honestly a distraction. It is a distraction from your actual work. It's a distraction from your actual highest alignment, which if you just could say no for a little while and be very peaceful and be gentle and go into meditation and figure out where it is that you lost that relationship with yourself. And like I said, I honor the fact that many of you have been trained and conditioned to live this way. You have been trained for a lifetime to be domesticated, to go against yourself, to ignore your knowing. And this is why so many of you are suffering. It's why so many of the children nowadays are numb and on drugs and checking out, and they have so many addiction problems because they came in here not wired for that, and they're kind of rebellious about it. But we need to help them by shifting ourselves into alignment. So if you're a parent and you have children that are rebelling and acting out, check in on what are they mirroring to you? What are they reflecting back? Some of these children will go through very extreme measures to wake up their families.